Nací en el pueblo de Heemskerk, al norte de Arnhem, en 1975. Tengo una hermana mayor y como niño me gustaría leer, montar caballo, hacer música. Todas esas cosas me encantan, sí.
¿Y qué instrumento tocas?
Piano. Fui muy joven cuando empezó con dominación, juegos de dominación como las niñas hacen también, con cuerdas y todo. Se desarrolló hasta ahora. Fuimos jugando como indios y cowboys y me recuerdo el olor de cuero con los caballos. Confía más en animales que en gente en general. La primera vez salgar a una fiesta con dominación, cuero y todo, fue con un tío mío, miembro de MSA, Motorsport Club Amsterdam. Tuvo 18 años. Abajo. Good boy. Me encanta puppy play. Es como un fetish. This is very fucked up. Okay. So.
In English, yeah?
I have to explain puppy play in Spanish. That's difficult. So the puppy play started, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was something new. I was not really aware about it. It was also upcoming, and from the first moment I got to know it. I was very intrigued by it. So, and for the generation of now, it's also very safe, because they are not recognizable underneath their mask. So a lot of young gangsters actually like it to do the puppy play, and basically I am a handler for them. Also volunteer at some parties where there are lots of puppies, and it's very nice to also help the younger generation. The 90s were amazing. There was like so much liberty, and it was really nice. There were some big discotheques in the center of Amsterdam. Everybody came from all over Europe. There was the gay games also in Amsterdam. It was a completely different era, so you could walk safe on the street. And nowadays it's, let's say, the acceptance has declined significantly for queer or gay people in general. That's not so good. Also, a lot of businesses closed, so all the discos that were open then are gone, and what we see more nowadays are mainstream tourists, but not really people who come out for the special nice parties and things. So it's changed, and there are a lot of laws. You cannot bring out your glass. If you have a drink in Amsterdam, there will be fines for everything. Even smoking marijuana is prohibited now in the center of Amsterdam, on the streets. They'll give you a fine. So it's changed. It was unthinkable in the 90s. Their minds are very narrow. See? I've been performing at Wasteland since 2011. So then we suspended some people on hooks, meat hooks, all the way to the roof of the Hemkade, and then basically each year I did something there. It's nice. So let's see. 2 weeks ago I danced around like a sex alien on the main stage, and at Summer Edition I was a handler for puppies. That's where we met actually. Yeah, you were standing there with the barber, and I came in with the puppy. It's a big fetish event with almost 5,000 visitors, and it's organized 3-4 times a year. So in October, November, usually in spring and summer there are editions. So that's a very nice party. It's for all, basically for everybody's welcome, from the fetish scene. So it doesn't matter what gender orientation you have, as long as you are dressed really nice, and that's most important for the party. And a lot of celebrities also come there to be seen and to show themselves. Because I know several people from the adult entertainment, and their position is not so good actually. So basically they are, on one side you are a hero and you're like a god, and on the other side people spit on you. So that's the other side of it. So there's not, it's very difficult to maintain yourself if you're active in that. Of course there are playrooms and play areas for adults. So if I mention play, I mean a variety of sexual activities with or without involving BDSM.
Yeah.
So for me, BDSM is not specifically linked to sex. It can be, but it's not. It's about basically the trust that's involved. It's all it all boils down to trust, because somebody is willing to give over his life and responsibilities to me as the dominant or the master. So a big responsibility is on my shoulder, really.
Good.
I'm there for their safety. I remember this one time when we heard this screaming. We were sitting somewhere, having fun, and then we heard all those high screams, and then somebody was really burned bad with a cigarette, and then I was like, ooh, that's okay. That's something else.
Yeah.
I think I was 21 or something, so I was shocked. There were huge illegal parties and legal parties in the 90s in the harbor area of Amsterdam, in the basically vacant buildings, industrial, and they were amazing. All these parties, they were mostly gay men, and with rubber and latex and leather, and puppies were not existent back then, at least not in the way they are existent nowadays. Yeah, that was something that came up like I think 7 or 10 years ago. And well, for young kinksters, it's a very safe way to express themselves, because they're not directly recognizable, so they feel quite safe in it. And yeah, it's a whole new trend, which is nice. It's now more commonplace. In the 90s it was not existent, and also in the 90s I was one of the youngest guys there, so the most leather men were like in their 40s, and they had like beards and mustaches and everything, and so I was still a kid,
Yeah.
That was also, there were maybe 3 or 4 people at the party that were my age, so most of the guys, hundreds of them were like a bit older. And yeah, so there was this age difference, and nowadays it's more mixed, which is nice. I already came out that closet when I was like 18, 19, so they've seen it evolve, and they're okay with it, they support it, which is awesome, of course. So there are of course some businesses from back then who still exist, but the whole area of going out has changed dramatically since the 90s.
Yeah.
So there were like 20, 30 establishments that closed because of some unfortunate events. Well, there was a guy who owned a lot of real estate, and he had a tax debt and a debt with Heineken, and then he killed himself. And then 40 or 60 businesses went bankrupt overnight. So that was a lot of gay bars and discos, everything. So that was quite, it took some time to recover. And then of course there was COVID. So that also marked a lot of businesses. It was a very difficult time for everybody to survive. And of course there was not really contact, so a lot of people started to go online and do things there. So the trend nowadays is there's a few places where it's really nice to go out, and youngsters also come. There are special teams for them also. So it's like a puppy play or sneaker party or XL leather party. The generation that took me in when I was 18, 19, my uncle, he has died. So I'm now the next in line to, keep it going, keeping it safe and pleasant for everybody, and making the youngsters feel comfortable with themselves and with their, so they can express themselves in a way that's good. Down.
You name it, the place, the torture place where you used to go.
So on Wednesday I'll be going to Berlin. There's Folsom. It's also a huge fetish event for people all across Europe. Stel je niet aan. Which will gather and have nice parties. So and Berlin is more open-minded than Amsterdam nowadays. So it's always been very open-minded and crazy. Everything goes in Berlin. You cannot imagine. In the 90s in Amsterdam, there was the aftermath of the AIDS, of course, which was quite bad. The SIDA. It was a very different and difficult period also, because when I was young, 18, 19, if you love somebody, it could mean that you actually died. So the way we look now at pictures of the Second World War with concentration camps, the youngsters of now see the pictures of AIDS patients from the 80s and 90s. And for them it's also far away. Nowadays they have PrEP, so with PrEP you will not contract HIV, but it's still, you can contract everything else. But they do not have to live with the burden like we did at the 80s, 90s, because you could actually die from having just sex one time, unprotected. So that was a pretty big trauma, and I'm very happy that the new generations do not have to live with that burden and responsibilities, because it was really not very good for the love life. Yeah. To an outsider, my personal life may look very chaotic, but in fact it's really organized. Yeah. So I'm working with classical musicians, also singers. So all in all, basically the nightlife, the day life. There's only 24 hours in a day, and sometimes I tend to forget. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of contrast between classical music and BDSM.
You would be surprised how much people from the classical music go out also, and I see in the nightlife in completely different situations. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we are very human after all. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
My parents had some records, of course, with piano music and everything, and I was 5 or 6 and I could just hear it and play it. And my sister was really aggravated because she was studying like on a music piece for 2 weeks, and I heard it once and I could play it without any mistakes, boom, like that. So and she was like, oh, I have to study so hard and he can just play it. But yeah, that was then she quit the piano. Yeah, at one point she was like, okay, you can play, I will play the guitar and sing. And she's really good at it, and she's very musical, and I have a beautiful sister.
Okay.
And we're very close, and we tell each other a lot of secrets. Yeah, from the heart. My sister, I love her.
What year you recorded your CD?
My first recording was in 2014, I think, which was nice. It was a part of the work that I played in the Doele in Rotterdam, a big concert hall. I completely trashed the piano in 15 minutes, so they had to pull it off the stage because there was not sound coming from it anymore after that. It was completely banged up, basically. So yeah, that was the first album, a solo album. And it also led me to be invited to masterclasses in Madrid.
Okay.
With Isidro Barrio. He's now deceased, but he was a Spanish pianist and quite well known. I think he made like 30 or 40 grabaciones with Philips, Decca. He was an expert on Sobre, which is the Haydn of Spain, basically. So.
And you learned your Spanish there in this time?
No. I was when I was 17. My dad moved to Mexico, to Coahuila, the northern state.
For make that? What?
For work, for Autos Hornos, the Hoogoffice, the steel industry. And then he met somebody and he stayed there for almost 30 years. So I moved in there when I was 17, till my 18th, and then later on I lived there for several months at a time and moved back and lived there. So I think I lived maybe 3-4 years in Mexico.
Okay.
The second one 2015, but did not came out so well. People were like pressuring me, you have to release one album a year, and then I was pushing it, but then I was not really satisfied about the results. The recordings were also not really good, so in 2017 I had a release of the songs. So I put to music some really old lyrics from German poets, and I made 9 songs which were recorded, and within a week, even before the album was pressed, it was on classical radio. It was even in a playlist, I think. That album was completely sold out. So last year I had it reissued under a different name, a German name, because the first name was English of the album, the title, and because they're all German text. And during COVID I also recorded one album with the singers. I'm very close to the singers, and I just called them during COVID when even traveling was prohibited, and I asked them, okay, shall we go to the studio and record something? We could be dead in 3 or 4 months. Nobody knew how it would end, if it would be mass extinction, some kind of thing. I thought, well, what would I like to do best at that moment? Okay, just record some beautiful music with my good friends and celebrate the love for music. 2017, I first traveled to Germany, and because I was bored there quite a lot, I came to a master class, and the lady and I didn't really get along. So it was on the second day that I said, okay, I'm checking out. I couldn't sleep very well, so I started to read poetry. And of course I walked in that village, and all the poets lived there. Franz Liszt lived there, Goethe lived there, Nietzsche lived there, Bach lived there. And on the last day of the trip I went to visit Buchenwald, which is located just outside the village. And during the Nazi era, that was the concentration camp where all the dissidents and people who were unwelcome were basically kept as prisoners, and most of them starved to death. And that was so weird, I could not put that together in my mind. So we have the place which had housed the greatest civilization, or with all the biggest minds of all times, and just outside of it was the place of atrocities, and people worked also there. So after that I went to visit the States and Mexico. And the front of the album the picture was taken on Mount Arizona in Flagstaff, where some friends lived. We visited them, and they said, oh, by the way, we've got a surprise. So they took me for a drive, and we walked for 2 hours, and then in the field there was this demolished piano. So I put it back together, and I said, take as much pictures as possible, because this will never happen again. And that became the front of the album. So it was not photoshopped. And after that I went to visit and stay with my dad. And in his house he had like a table piano, which was completely out of tune. So I could only use maybe 1 or 2 octaves of the left that were kind of okay. And I just noted down all the music that I heard when I read the German poems. And when I got back in Holland, I just worked it out. And it was, literally what I noted became the songs, yeah.
Wow.
And of course, all these landscapes, imagine, first you have the landscapes of Germany with waterfalls and waters and forests and fields, and it's very green and lush. Then of course Mexico, which can be very arid in the north, but also places there in the mountains where it's super lush and amazing skies and very green, and of course, and then Arizona, where there was also snow and mountains and very strange. So all these landscapes are kind of a line that connects all the dots, and all the poetry is mostly about landscapes as a metaphor for human emotions and thoughts and the human psyche. Yeah, so it tells about water bodies, about lakes, about the sea, about fairies that live in the forest. And you could, if you walk there on all these places, you could actually sense all of that. It had magic, and magic came from the poetry, and which is the last track on the album.
Okay. What's the name?
Lorelei.
Lorelei.
Yeah. So she was blessed with a beautiful looks and a gorgeous voice, but her curse was solitude for eternity. And she lured guys to death, by making them jump in the water because they were lured to her voice. But that was only temporary company. So she was cursed to be alone forever, which is quite bad. So all her gifts, I don't know. I wouldn't want to trade. Eternity is a long time.